Hi, Roger Bowie here for music.net, and today I'm rapping with Al Park. I think I think I think you might be a bit older than me, Al, but that means there's two old farts having a chat about things that matter, and music matters, doesn't it?
Music has always mattered, Roger.
And look, are you having trouble there? Technical
No, I'm
trouble?
not. No, no trouble.
Okay.
Lucky I've got an amazing assistant.
He's just gate crashed our internet. We might get him to say a few words towards the end. Now, so you got a new album coming out in a couple of weeks. It's called Pony.
Yep.
And this is your third album, right?
It is my third album, but it's really, it's my third album. I first released a 6-track cassette. So, which was kind of like probably just around the time that CDs were being made, but I didn't make it until CD. Cassette was a lot more convenient and cheaper. And then I put out an album way back in 1990 something. And then 3 years ago, I put out my Delaney Davison produced Better Already, that didn't actually have me doing anything on it. Just had all my friends singing on it, singing my songs.
Yeah, a tribute album.
Well, it was kind of a tribute album. It was just a good idea. I thought if my friends wanted to sing my songs, which fortunately they did, that I thought it was just a nice way to get my songs out there without, and maybe to a big audience, because people were more well known who were singing them.
Yeah, well, that's I was worried because I thought tribute albums only come out after you.
Oh, yeah. So people thought it was a tribute album, and people have called it that, but it was really just my mates all singing my songs.
It's kind of like a second coming, then, is it?
Well, yeah, it is like a thing. What happened with that is that when Will Davey, my friend and advisor, he suggested to me that he would, be willing to put some money up for Delaney to produce an album of my songs, right, with me singing them. And I was like, it's not going to be a big album. Well, maybe we'd be better off having a different thought about that. And he came back and said, let's get your friends to do it. How would you feel about that? And I was like, well, if my friends would like to sing my songs, that would be really good. So that's what happened. And then at the same time, I'd started work with Elmore Jones and Adam Hadaway on an album, and we'd collected all these songs together. And then Delaney came along to produce my album, and he wanted more songs than he'd been given. And so we gave him some of the recordings that Elmore had done already of me, and he picked some off that. So this album, Pony, kind of got delayed by all of that process.
So I'll come back to Pony, but that is an album that I've got to track down because you.
Better Already.
Pardon?
The Better Already album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, between you and me, I've got to say, Roger, I just played it for the first time in about a year the other day. It's actually, I think it's really good, and people have told me it's really good. It's, look at the people on it. It can't not be Marlon Williams, Jordan Lark, Barry Saunders, and Delaney and Hadaway, Adam McGrath. They really put the work in on the songs, and I'm proud of it. They're really, really good.
Yeah, because I'm just doing some research on this. That's where I came across it. I had no idea. So we'll track it down. Back to you. You escaped from Wellington long time ago and came to Christchurch, and then you tried California for a bit. But yeah, Christchurch has been it, really, hasn't it? And why do you think?
Totally. I think the kind of reason why that Christchurch became it is because, I came here, I pretty much instantly went into business here as a secondhand junk shop owner, which was something that I had always wanted to do. And then everything just sort of opened up for me in the kind of way that I was able to do things that I love doing. And and so, and I never stopped. So the opportunity to go away arose, and that's when I went to California. But then I came back because it was just so, I felt so comfortable living here, and being able to do things that I loved doing, even though they weren't like huge money-making things. I could still do it. I could have a little club. I could have band. I could get people to come and see me, and I enjoyed. I moved to Littleton. I loved the South Island. So everything about it was just suited my lifestyle, my idea of how I'd like to live, and it never stopped. So there was no reason to leave. It just got better, if anything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And now, of course, they tell me you're an icon. Is
that I mean, if you want to stay in one place for a long time, and you and you want to be as public as I've been, like, for instance, I had I started off with a junk shop. Well, I met a whole lot of people pretty quickly as a junk shop owner. I started a band and had my own little club, so I met a whole lot of other sort of people. Then I came back and put a band together that was massively successful in the Christchurch or South Island area, and then I sort of, alongside, after that sort of came to an end of 10 years of doing professional music, I worked in a second-hand store, which everyone thought I owned, and it was like, it was just like my little domain for a number of years. So there was heaps of people passing through, and so it didn't really stop. And then I had the L's Bar, the music venue, which kind of was much more national people and international people. So, I've always been able to do music-related things, if not music, and just have a lot of fun doing it. So, yeah, it's just been ongoing. And then since the earthquake and I lost the bar, well, there was the Harbour Union with all the local Littleton guys. I was pretty heavily involved in that, and then putting things on at the yacht club for the community, and then getting back into like seriously playing again, but more solo orientated, so it's not hard to, all I've got to say, it hasn't been that difficult to have become kind of this person that people go, you're a legend or an icon. And they're not really titles I'm comfortable with. But
icons normally get clustered, or tall poppies get cut down, but you sound like you're pretty safe to me.
well, it's it's interesting, isn't it? What kind of someone said to me the other day, you just feel, it feels like you attract a lot of people. I do feel like I attract a lot of people to me. I don't know why, but I do. But I've also been I've always been very supportive of other people and helpful, and in a sense, I realized that I've really took on that mantle a long time ago of being supportive to other artists who would, in most cases, I would suggest, had a lot more talent than me.
So what runs off everybody's lips is that Al Park, he's a friend of mine, which is also the opening track on the album. So tell us about Pony. Tell us about the new record. I've already pretty much written my review, so you get a chance to preempt me. I'm quite happy because, just even to have the chance to work with the young guys and record these songs. Just is such a nice thing to be doing, as you can appreciate at this time of my life. It's an odd mixture of songs. I've never written in a what I would call, like if you listen to Neil Young, he's pretty identifiable in all aspects, but I seem to have a little bit of a mishmash of styles. But then you don't get to choose what you write, and I'm not a person to just sit down and write a song for trying to write a song's sake. That most of the songs I write come to me, and you'll see lots of songwriters talk about being an antenna. I don't say that I get the best quality songs, but I get a bunch of songs, and so Pony is that, and because some of the songs got taken for better already. Maybe it's not quite as cohesive as I'd like, but I actually do like the way that it runs together. Basically, it's been a lot of
for all the fact that I've helped people through times, Hadaway and Jones have been really supportive to me, and they have done a lot of the selecting of the songs and organising things, to be honest. A lot of credit goes to them. Hadaway's idea to name it Pony, even though it had a song called Ride My Pony, it was kind of tied in with his album called Rooster.
I got that.
So, bit of a farmyard deal going on.
I'm not going to change that bit of my review. I've already got that down.
But it's hard to tell you what a joy it is to have a couple of guys of their talent being so supportive to me. And it's almost like the tables have been turned from, because I have really supported them as well. And in fact, they wouldn't have even been together if I hadn't have, it was all part of that, really, people bringing people together. And so, it's been a joy. And in fact, we've just gone and done another one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But isn't it? But thank Christ for the album, because it's a body of work, and you're closer to it than anybody, so you might be a bit worried about the coherence. I'm excited about the eclectic nature, and to me, it all adds up to this wonderful world of Americana. I mean, you're switching from crooning country to Chicago blues, and it's and it's not unlike what Adam does with the Haunters either.
It's funny, like he's way more talented than me. I mean, he's and that's in so many ways. But I think we've both had a big influence on each other. Yeah. He's a great kid, Adam Hadaway. But he was absolutely blessed to that when he came back from England, that he walked into the Wunderbar, and I'd swapped Adam for Elmore, and because I'd met Elmore when he was 4. His dad's Phil Jones and plays in the Latter-day Sinners with me, and so when Adam went away, I thought I'd still like to have a duo partner, and Elmore, I rang him up, and there's some stories in here, Roger, that are way too long for the interview, but the influence of things like picking up Elmore and asking him to come and playing a duo with me changed his life, and it's interesting to see that happen. It's the same with like Banjo George, who's on the album.
Yes.
Hadaway brought Banjo up to the Wunderbar, and he was just plain old George, a very shy kid with introverted, and I was a second, I don't know, maybe the second or third night he was there, he'd playing banjo alongside me, and spontaneously we just finished the song, and I broke out just into this song that just wrote on the spur of the moment, and called it Banjo George, and made this little song after like 2-second ad for George, basically, and from that point on, we started calling him Banjo George. And about 3 months later, my daughter came back from a party, because she's about the same age as all these guys. And she said to me, Dad, do you realize that everyone calls George Banjo now? Well, his life, I'm not having you on, his personality changed. He now has a business called Banjo Electrical. His parents give me credit for the fact that, but it was just interesting to watch something like that happen. And a similar thing happened with Elmore.
That's so cool. And I just been this year, for some reason, there have been 2 or 3 albums come out. A couple of them recorded in Nashville, but very Americana. But the banjo just makes it. And that's like, and you might know my mate Banjo Collins out of there's another banjo guy out of Australia. But it's just the banjo does so much to a song, and it sits there, and most people don't even know it's there.
Yeah. Anyway, that's been all part of the wonderful life and journey with kids and music and just the fun of it,
What about the Littleton scene? I mean, I went over to Littleton on Boxing Day, a couple of years ago, 2020, and I was thinking that Marlon might walk into the bar that we were sitting in. Well, I was wrong. He was already inside the bar.
There was a civil naval.
Pardon?
Was it civil and naval?
There was a brewery.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I've moved from in the early stages. I was doing. Sorry, let's start again. Over the last few years, I was doing the Wunderbar for about 4 years, and then I just had. It was unfortunate, but the guy just was really rude to me one night, and I just had Marlon singing in his bar and everything. He should have been, and Delaney was turning up every week, and for some reason that I don't know why anyway, that came to an end, and I moved it down into the Loons, and then Marlon and Eldis and Delaney and all sorts of people would turn up on a fairly regular basis. And then the start of last year, I moved. Oh no, we were doing the Loons at the start of this year. The Loons came to me and said, "Look, this COVID is making it too hard, so we can't employ another person to just take care of a Wednesday night. It's just not financially viable." So I've moved down to the Commoners, which is under the British. And Marlon was there like 6 weeks ago. He'll just pop in, and the beauty of having like that. As the young kids who come and play they're all kids basically, young and old, they get to play with people like Marlon and Delaney and like all sorts of people, Backyard Davey. There'll be good musicians, and there'll be just people who are, like having amateur part-timers, but they all get to play songs together, and it's pretty magic, eh?
It's a great scene. There's so much great music's come out of there in the last few years.
Adam McGrath was a big part of that,
right?
While I've been here the whole time and watched things happen, Adam McGrath, like in the pre-earthquake days with Eastern, he really upped the whole thing. And I think that probably of everyone, Adam deserves a huge amount of credit for just how that whole thing evolved. But we had Marlon Delaney. There's a lot of people.
He's a big man with a big heart, is Adam?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Another one of my sons.
I was going to I'll jump a couple of points, but today's music scene, are we getting better or worse? Because you and I go back a few years.
Yeah, well, it's like everything. It's changed, and like when you think back to when we were started listening to music, like I often think about this, that we could have a very broad spectrum of listening. You could listen, you could know bits about all sorts of music, whether it be country or jazz or just pop music and whatever. Yeah. And then CD came along, and I think CD changed a lot. It expanded the ability to record more quickly and efficiently. It also allowed back catalogues to be re-released on a huge scale that we'd never seen before. And so we've just been flooded with music to the point where to keep your finger on sort of thinking that you might know something about something and something is impossible. It's when Ed Sheeran, what did he say the other day when he was talking about that lawsuit? There's something like 80 million songs downloaded onto Spotify every year. It's become impossible to even think that you might be able to hear some of the best music around. The idea that the best music rises to the top no longer really sort of counts anymore. There's so much. And you just think of the small town of Christchurch, of how many album releases are done in a year by just local artists. It's like phenomenal. So I think that there's still a lot of obviously great music being made, but to actually track it down and have the time, you could spend more time trying to track down music than you could listening to it. And I think that's a bit of a disadvantage.
For sure. I found refuge in Americana because it's a big broad church, but and the Kiwi musicians in the last 10 years have become so good, so good in this little genre. Yeah.
Oh, Oh, so amazing, whether it be, I mean, Hadaway, but you could go like to Red Fountain and this is so, and I think probably you might be the same as me. There's also so much great music in my past that I still love listening to. And I still love Little Feat. I still love those first early Steve Miller Band albums before he started being a pop musician. But those early Steve Miller albums, their little psychedelic flicks in them, and it doesn't matter. Right across the board, and I love all the old pop songs that I've had in my past.
Aren't we the lucky bastards? I mean, Steve Hackett's here. Steve Hackett's here in a few weeks playing Selling England by the Pound. How good is that?
I know, it's ridiculous. So yeah. So I think the difficulty as you get older is the amount of music you accumulate, and it's just hard to listen to everything. But look, you talk about New Zealanders. Look, Aldous Harding, Nadia Reid. I mean, it's just
Jenny Mitchell, Jackie Bristow,
well, Jackie's
Jamie McDowell.
It just. Oh, well, and then Jenny Mitchell, and they just keep rolling off, and it blows me away.
Are you going to tour this record? I mean, it's such a hoot. I down really well in the Big Smoke up here.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you should ask me that, because I did that Kim Hill interview the other day, and Mark Emery, her producer, said to me, you've got to come up to Pycock. And then my buddy up in Coromandel was saying, you've got to come up to Coromandel. And I'm thinking, I must get out here. And I've never thought about it on a national level, just because I've been so centered here. So I'm really, really sort of considering that, especially now that I've got this other stuff that we recorded down in Sublime a couple of weeks back. Down in Curragh. Oh man, I tell you what, it's like sometimes I wish I'd started recording a lot earlier, because those boys are really pushing me along now. And I was so happy with what we've got up to. I'm seriously considering that I want to go and do a little.
Well, I would urge you. I mean, it's never too late. And
no, it's never too. I mean, and I certainly, I'm not thinking about that. I feel I keep myself pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't.
I look forward to seeing you. And so you've got the albums coming out on the 27th.
Yeah.
And you've got an album launch party. Where's that? Is that
at the Loons down here?
Oh, it's at the Loons. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, there's a really good lineup for that, because I've got Frankie Daly playing keys to start off with.
Frankie, yeah,
and then I've got Adam and Tess, who are coming back. Tess Luatur are coming back off their tour, and Adam and Jess from Eastern, and the four of them are doing a sort of Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young acoustic set together, and then the show, my band for the show is Bruce Hambling from the Dudes and Wayne Jamison from the Hot Sticks as a rhythm section, then Elmore and Adam on the guitars. Frankie's doing a little bit of the keys for those songs that require it. And then I'm having Anthea Struthers, or the vicar's daughter, amazing woman who sung Running Away from a Broken Heart on the Better Already album.
Yeah. She
is doing a cameo, it's just to break up my set. So I'm pretty excited by it's going to be a really, really good show. It's like, I love doing shows.
I wish I could get down.
It's going to be showy. I'm pulling out the silver suit. The silver suit's coming out for it.
Oh wow! Look, I wish I could.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, congratulations. I'm going to wrap it up now for this
cool,
part. Been great to talk to you. It's a hoot of an album.
Thank you.
It's out on the 27th. Al Park's Pony. So all of these people that are watching, make sure you line up and get a copy. And if you're in Christchurch, go along to Loons on Friday the 27th. And if you're not in Christchurch, fly down. You can still do that.
Well, I actually do have a couple of people flying in, so it's cool.
Yeah. All right, Al. Cheers, mate.